Seawright and Dan Geltrude. Dan, what do you think?
I think he's wrong to be, well, I think Elizabeth Warren is wrong and Bernie Sanders to be vilifying billionaires. It's a ridiculous thing, Neil. You know, the economy needs that type of job creation and the things that billionaires do. When you talk about this wealth tax that's coming out right now, it's a cumulative tax. It's being taxed on the same assets every single year over and over. So even when Elizabeth Warren talks about it's only 2 cents, you know, that 2%, if you take that 2% over a 25-year period, that will reduce the wealth by 40%.
And we should explain, let's say the 2 cent thing for someone like Jeff Bezos would be $7 billion a year.
Right.
$7 billion. That's almost as much as.
And that's and those assets have already been accumulated on income that was taxed already, Neil. Right. So it's just layers and layers of tax.
Well, that's the accountant in you talking.
Yes, it is.
All right. So, Antjuan, what do you think of that? Now, obviously, Joe Biden and some of the more moderate candidates don't subscribe to that. More of them are speaking out now. But whatever your views on it, do you think it is hurting the party, that it's looking like tax?
I think we have to be careful as a party of how we lay out certain arguments. Fine if we have an individual position, but I don't think we can stroke a broad brush about and say the entire party needs to pull this direction. At the end of the day, we've couched ourselves as the big tent party. So because of that, we have to govern ourselves accordingly. Now, I do believe that the wealthy, the Neil Cavutos of the world, should pay their fair share.
I'm looking at that beautiful jacket, and that is not J.C. Penney.
I do believe they should pay their fair share, but I think...
What is fair share to you?
Well, I think that when Warren Buffett says he paid less in taxes than his assistant, I think that's a real breakdown in the system.
It's a fair share. The top rate now is 37%. It was reduced from 39.6%. When I ask Democrats this, I always feel in the back of their minds they're saying, whatever you make is the fair share.
Well, you're going to get various opinions within the party. I think that's the diversity of our party.
Well, should it be 45%?
I don't know what the exact number should be.
Joe Biden wants to raise it back to what it was, 39.6 for starters.
For starters.
I agree with that.
I think that's a safe bet because I think that's a place that Democrats and Republicans probably find some common ground. But I will tell you is that when we get to a general election position, I think we have to be one band, one sound, or we will be divided, and I think that would be problematic.
Well, fairly or not, the one band, one sound that you get from Democrats, the way it's portrayed is they just want to raise taxes. And then that at the very least they're going to go up.
They try to make it seem.
I think it's fair to say whether it's Joe Biden, a moderate, or Elizabeth Warren, pretty extreme, the taxes will go up. And that's what Republicans are pounding. That's what Donald Trump is warning about.
Well, it's true. And look, with Democrats in a primary, there really isn't a penalty for bashing the wealth in a Democratic primary, the wealthy in a Democratic primary. But the problem is...
But by the way, even their biggest luminaries who they idolize, and for fine reason, John Kennedy, Franklin Roosevelt, steeped in wealth. The equivalent billionaires today.
Well, I would argue that the Democrat Party has shifted further left than at that point in time. But I actually think Elizabeth Warren was given a gift with a potential Bloomberg entry because she needed a villain in this primary. She always wanted to literally run against big banks and Wall Street, and now she's got a fat cat amongst her ranks.
So you think this has divided the moderate ranks?
It's very well might.
I don't think so. Here's the thing. Most people would agree if you want better roads, I'm okay with paying a little more. If you want better schools for your children, I'm okay with paying a little more.
As long as I don't have to pay for it.
No, but I think that most people will agree that those things are important for any environment to survive.
But Bernie Sanders doesn't do that. At least he has the honesty to say, I can't just stick this on the super wealthy. I'm going to raise your taxes to middle class. You're going to get more out of it than you're paying. But at least he's honest enough to say that's it.
That's the problem. In California, we just increased our gas taxes. And look, I can afford it. I don't want to. It hurts the people who can afford it the least. That's the problem with these tax increases.
But when we don't increase, like we went through this in South Carolina, we were one of the states in the country have not increased our gas tax since I was 1 year old. I'm 34, right? And so now that now I don't hear one complaint about raising the gas tax, and we're not even at the national average. Why? Because as a result, we have better roads, infrastructure, healthcare, and all those things.
Trump economy.
No. Infrastructure, healthcare, and schools. No one will be mad about.
Dan, what do you think of that?
Listen, the problem with this whole thing is that these taxes start off with the best intentions, but it doesn't go in that direction. Right. Look, when the income tax started all the way back in 1913, you remember, Neil.
Absolutely.
So you know, that tax was meant to be a tax on the wealthy. Next thing you know, everybody's paying income tax from that point on. So when you start off with, we need these taxes to pay for Medicare for all and free college and all these other programs, eventually everyone is going to have to kick in. So to me, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's vilify the billionaires. Let's say we're going to have the rich pay for that
everyone's
stuff,
for something
and it
like
doesn't
this
work
as long
out.
as they don't have to pay for it. If you treat me out to dinner, I'm going to order 2 appetizers, lots of desserts, because I'm not paying, right?
That's not your normal, Neil?
Well, and here's the bigger problem. Let's say we could even keep it just to the wealthy.
Right.
You're disincentivizing the wealthy and the billionaires from risking their capital to start new industries.
Why are you guys so mad at the idea of people who make a little more paying a little more?
Because we want to incentivize them to risk capital.
But that does not mean...
Why are you against curbing the spending underneath? You're all for throwing money. As long as it's not your money, someone else's money.
Let me tell you what I'm for. I'm for the wealthy paying a bit more so that we can lift people up this way. If we do this, I believe we can do this, and we meet somewhere, and we improve middle class. We really get back to a place where we have a real middle class, and we elevate working poor people.
I have news for you.
Please.
The government... The government wastes our money. We have more revenue than ever coming in, and we keep spending more.
All right.
We're going to tax
the government,
more and spend more.
And you hate the government, and you don't want the wealthiest people in the world. And
well, I like Neil.
Well,
I don't think you should pay more.
You pay the bill. You take care of the bill. Anything you want. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I will happily treat you to Wendy's when we leave.
All right. Finally,